Luke chapter 2, verse 1. At the time, the Roman Emperor Augustus decreed that a census should be taken throughout the Roman Empire. This is like NRC, if you are reading the news. But kind of like that, right? So everyone returned to their own ancestral towns to register for their census. And because Joseph was a descendant of King David, he had to go to Bethlehem in Judea. Say Bethlehem. Everyone say Bethlehem. David's ancestral home. And he traveled there from the village of Nazareth in Galilee. So Joseph was living in Nazareth. He traveled to Bethlehem because of the NRC, right? The census of that time. And he took with him Mary, to whom he was engaged, and she was now expecting a child. And while they were there, the time came for a baby to be born. And then she gave birth to her firstborn son. And she wrapped him. Everyone say wrapped. Say that word again, wrapped. Say that louder, wrapped. She wrapped him snugly in strips of cloth and laid him in a manger because there was no lodging available for them. And that night, there were shepherds staying in the fields nearby, guarding their flocks of sheep. And suddenly an angel of the Lord appeared among them, and the radiance of the Lord's glory surrounded them, and they were terrified. But the angel reassured them, "Don't be afraid." Check this out now. This is the Christmas message. He said, "I bring you good news that will bring great joy to all people. The Savior, yes, the Messiah, the Lord, has been born today in Bethlehem, the city of David. And you will recognize him by this sign." This is the sign, according to God. "You will find a baby wrapped." Everyone say wrapped. Say that word again, wrapped. A baby wrapped snugly in strips of cloth, lying in a manger. Christmas at Limitless. And I want to speak to you today about Christmas, really, but something very important about the Christmas story, about the message that God has, what God had for the world back then, and what God has today for you. Right? So the first sign of Jesus being born, according to the Bible, according to the angel, according to God, the first sign of Jesus being born was not a star. All right, because we think sometimes, right, that the wise men saw a star and that's the first sign. That's not the first sign. The first sign of Jesus being born was not the Christmas tree. Okay? The first sign of Jesus being born was not Santa Claus. Even, just in case, I get this question all the time. Like, do we pray to Santa Claus? Also, like, I'm like, I don't know. Kids, guys, can you hold on to kids? Because cameras, can you check the camera? It moved. But the first sign of Christmas, the first sign of Jesus being born was also not these ornaments. Right? I mean, look at these ornaments that we know, we recognize Christmas with, right? These things that we hang on trees all the time. Don't they look beautiful, by the way? Aren't these amazing? Right? These were done by our core team, by the way. Yeah, in fact, I cut them out. I cut them. Yeah, your pastor works very hard during the week. And then Victoria put glitter on them. Where's Victoria? She loves glitter, right? And then Zia punched holes in them, and then she made the hangings. In fact, Zia cut out this one, the snowflake. Isn't this beautiful? Yeah, but mine is better. But and the rest of the core team, they did not do anything else. They were just fooling around. No, everyone worked hard, and even though all of this is beautiful, Christmas is not really about these things. This is not the first sign of Jesus being born, right? Not even lights. Because we hang lights in our house, right? We decorate the house with lights, and it seems like light is a sign of Christmas. My wife was saying our house looks so dull when we drive by. Let us put some lights. Let people know that we celebrate Christmas. But the light is not the first sign. Not even Christmas music, right? It was a silent night. Yeah, heaven was singing, the angels were singing, but the earth was silent. I know some of you have got the WhatsApp forward, saw Facebook. It's not a silent night. It was. In the earth, it was an ordinary night. It was a silent night. The first sign of Jesus being born, the first sign that God wanted us to find, humans to find, to tell us that yes, our Messiah, our Savior is born, the first sign was a baby wrapped. Was a baby wrapped. Wrapped like a gift. Because I believe God wanted everyone to know that more than anything, Jesus is a gift. Jesus is the gift of Christmas. Jesus is a gift from a loving Father to the world He loves. Jesus is the gift of Christmas. And that's the title of my sermon today, the gift of Christmas. The gift of Christmas. And we all love gifts, right? I mean, who does not like gifts? Every one of us, we love gifts. At least you loved gifts as a child, because now you're an adult and you don't get any gifts anymore, right? But every child, can you remember that time when you were a child? Can you remember that time on Sunday morning, Christmas morning, you would wake up and before you did anything else, before you brushed your teeth, before you peed or pooped, right? The first thing you would do was run into the living room, find that Christmas tree and pull out that box from underneath the Christmas tree, right? That you've been looking at all December, right? That time has finally come, that box that was sitting there, and you would like go near it on December 15th, try to touch it, and mom would say no on Christmas Day, right? And then you would like try to measure that box because you're wondering, is that the gift I really want? It looks like the same size, right? And then you would dream about that gift, and finally the day has arrived for you to open that gift, and you rip open the wrapping cover and you open up your gift, and finally the joy on your face of seeing the thing that you've been waiting for, right? That's the joy of finding a gift. And maybe some of you are not really happy about that. Maybe you've been someone who's opened the gift and it was not what you wanted, right? Maybe it was like, oh my God, this is, I asked for Iron Man and this is Deadpool. Like, whoa, Dad, what are you thinking, right? And you were like sad, and then your father could not see you sad, so he goes to the shop and buys Iron Man. Now you have Iron Man and Deadpool. Merry Christmas, right? But somehow, it's all about giving. I love the fact that Christmas today is known in the world for gifts. Giving and receiving gifts. And it's amazing, right? How many of you remember the best gift you've ever received at Christmas? Anyone remembers that? Anyone? Yes? Huh? What was your best gift? Yeah, whatever that is. Yeah, I didn't like Lego. What was... anyone? Huh? What did he say? I'm not a man. Yeah, I'm a man of God. Anyone remembers your best gift? Yeah, what was your best gift? I didn't tell you to put up your hand. You don't have to be the smartest guy in the room. I used to be that guy though. Like teacher asked me any question, I just put up my hand. And yeah, I don't know. Repeat the question, please. He pressed the buzzer before he thought. Anyone remembers their worst gift? The worst gift you received? Huh? Look, I received really great gifts, okay, growing up. There was one bad gift that I received, and this was not growing up, but this was when I was an adult. And my wife, Helen, is going to kill me for saying this. Where's Helen? Yeah, she's going to kill me, but then it's Christmas, right? You can't kill your husband for Christmas. So I am allowed to say this, but there was this one Christmas. In fact, it was our first Christmas, all right? We just gotten married, new couple. In fact, we got married on the 7th of December, and Christmas was just a couple of weeks away, and this is the first gift your wife gives you, right? So you have to keep that face. And I opened this gift. This is like 10 years ago. I opened this gift, and it's an expensive gift, okay? It's an expensive shirt. It's a very good brand, the brand that I loved, really expensive, but it was a purple shirt, right? It was that color, Except it was purpler than that purple. Like really purple. And if you know me, I only wore black. Right? Like I'm wearing red now, a little bit of red. This is after 10 years of marriage. This is what marriage does to you, right? It changes you. But no. I love my black. But purple shirt, what do? Brand new wife, right? Gives you the first gift. So I kept that smile, like, oh man, I love you so much. I gave her the kisses and all of that. And then I take that gift and I put it in my wardrobe, right? Before that gift, my wardrobe was black, right? Now it was like black, purple, black. And I just keep it there for the next 5 years or something, till it gets old and it's out. Right? I never wore it. It just sits there. It was sitting there in my wardrobe. Like every morning, open my wardrobe and I'll be, what is the purple? Like, oh, I'm married now. Okay, now makes sense, right? I did not need an alarm. Like it was that wake-up call. People getting married, Merry Christmas. But apart from that gift, okay, this is so bad. Helen's so going to kill me. But apart from that gift, all my other Christmas gifts were amazing. Like really good gifts. Growing up, especially when I was a kid, I had amazing gifts. Because I had 2 Santa Clauses when I was growing up. 2 Santa Clauses. Is that even a word? Santa Clauses? I don't even know. What's the plural of Santa Claus? Santa Claus? What's English majors? What's Santa Claus? I don't know. 2 Santas, right? Can I even talk about Santa in church? Is that okay? Because some people, there are Christians who hate Santa. And I get to know this in Goa. Like when I came to Goa, I heard like people get offended when I talk about Santa. Christians in Goa, right? Like I was like, people look at me in such a way like, Santa Claus, how dare he? Like the funniest thing that happened, right? This is not part of the sermon. I have to tell you this though. But the funniest thing that I heard about Santa was this one lady who came up to me and she said, brother. And when they call me brother instead of pastor, you know that they've just lowered your value down and they're going to now preach to the preacher, right? So they don't call you pastor when they want to like correct you or something. They just lower you down to brother, right? So she was like, brother, by the way, did you know that Santa is Satan? I'm like, no way, tell me more. And she was like, have you ever observed, if you move the N from the middle of Santa, the word Santa, and move it to the end, check out the spelling. Satan. Santa is Satan. And I made obviously, right, I had to make a serious face. I'm like, yeah, I'll pray about it. Thank you so much. I go to the toilet and I laugh my heart out because it's hilarious, right? I mean, who does that? Like, who changes the letters of the word? If that is the fact, then if you rearrange the letters of the word God, it spells dog. And no one does that, right? That's blasphemy. Come on. So what's the point in changing the letters? It's crazy. But look, Santa is Santa and Satan is Satan, okay? 2 different people, all right? If you don't believe in Santa, absolutely okay. I don't believe in Santa also. I'm 35 years old. It's fine, all right? Santa is not a real person. Kids, don't ignore this part. But for me, Santa is not real, all right? Santa is an imaginary thing. Santa has nothing to do with Christmas. Santa has nothing to do with the birth of Jesus Christ. But Santa is a cute little old man, right? But so growing up, I had 2 Santa Clauses. Now, this is very important, okay? This is the story that I want you to catch. And one Santa was a fat Santa, and the other was a thin Santa. And I kind of always knew who those Santas were. The fat Santa was my grandfather, and the thin Santa was my father. And I always, it was easy to know the fat Santa, who he was, because the fat Santa was a naturally looking Santa. Like, he was naturally fat, right? He had like this huge stomach, the biggest you'd ever seen. Like, it looks like he swallowed himself up, right? Huge stomach. And there was only one person that I knew in my life that had a stomach like that. So it had to be my grandfather. It was easy. But the thin Santa was took me a while to figure out. Because this thin Santa had this very awkward stomach. Like, it was square in shape, right? And it would fall down every now and then. And my mom would then go and push the stomach up and try to tuck the stomach into his pants. And it was like awkward, as a kid. Like, Mom, what are you doing? You're playing with Santa's stomach, and now you're almost near his pants. Like, well, it's one thing hearing the song, I saw Mommy kissing Santa Claus. This is Mommy touching Santa's stomach, right? It was, but it was easy then to figure out that was not the stomach, there was a pillow, and that was my dad. But even though I loved Fat Santa more than Thin Santa because he was a natural, the Thin Santa always had the better gifts. And the reason why Thin Santa had the better gifts was because Thin Santa worked at Fun School. And if you don't know, Fun School is, I think, India's biggest toy manufacturer or something like that, or at least it was. So my dad worked at Fun School, and I had the best gifts, the best toys. That's why I did not like Lego, and Joel seems Lego is the only toy. I had better toys than you, Joel. I had like the best toys, which you would dream about. But we'll have that battle later. But I had the best toys, and I was the only child, no siblings. So I could like build a mountain of toys and dive into it, like, because all mine. I don't care. I break them, it's mine, right? But all because of my Thin Santa. But the Fat Santa gave me really boring gifts. The Fat Santa would give me like clothes, right? Which is disappointing as a kid. Which kid loves clothes? So I had to do something about Fat Santa. And I didn't know what to do. Fat Santa was a problem for me. So one day I prayed, I think, and that year we got cable TV for the first time. And on cable TV, I think it was Cartoon Network or something, for the first time in my life, I found out that kids could actually write letters to Santa Claus, asking Santa what they wanted. Like, kids could have a wish list. I never knew that. Because all these years, I thought I just had to be surprised. And if I like it, I like it. If I don't, then I don't. But apparently, kids could write letters to Santa Claus. Doordarshan never told me that. And Doordarshan did not know anything about Santa Claus. Doordarshan sucked. I don't know if it still sucks. I know Joel was on Doordarshan a couple of weeks back. Now I think Doordarshan a little sexy because of Joel, but back then it was really bad. So I thought, finally, right, I get to write my letter to Santa. I get to ask what I want. So I write a letter to Santa with my demands, amazing gifts. And my Santas wrote back to me. I didn't know that. They could write back. Do you know that? Santas can write back to you? Yeah? So my Santas, both of them, wrote back a letter to me, agreeing to buy the gifts. They agreed to my demands, but there was a condition. Right? Santa Claus had a clause. That's why I think he got the name Santa Claus. And the clause was this, the condition was this: I had to get a certain percentage of marks in my upcoming exams, and I had to not get any bad remarks on my report card. I had to be nice. And only if I got that percentage and did not get the bad remarks, then only I would get my gift. Otherwise, I wouldn't get my gift. And isn't that what Santa is known for? Right? If you watch a lot of television, a lot of American TV shows, you know that Santa is known for asking this age-old question: have you been naughty or nice this year? Right? Yeah. Anyone? Or you absolutely hate Santa Claus. So you're like, close to naughty or nice. And only if you've been nice this year, then Santa will give you a gift. But if you've been naughty this year, then Santa won't give you a gift. Right? Isn't this what Santa Claus is about? And sometimes, even though we say we don't believe in Santa Claus, even though we say Santa is demonic, Santa is evil, Santa is Satan by moving the ends around, even though we say Santa has nothing to do with Christmas, Santa has nothing to do with the birth of Jesus, sometimes we make Santa sound so much like Jesus, don't we? Right? Don't we tell people, hey, if you want something from Jesus, then you got to be nice. You got to do good things. And if you do good things, then you'll get a reward. Then Jesus will give you what you want. But if you do bad things, then Jesus won't give you what you're asking him. Right? We tell people that Christianity is all about what you do. And if you do good things, then you get a reward from God. But if you do bad things, then you don't get a reward. Right? The more Bible you read, the better the reward. The more worship songs you sing, the better the reward. The more hours you serve in church, the more teams you serve in church, the better the reward. The more money you give, the better the reward. Right? The Jesus we preach sounds so much like Santa. And here I thought you did not believe in Santa Claus. Ouch. The mindset of people when Jesus was born, that night, that silent night when Jesus was born, the mindset of people was just like this. People were told that God, the only way to God was to please him by doing things. The 400 years before the birth of Christ was the quietest period in history. Spiritually quietest. No move of God recorded in the Bible. No encounter with God recorded in the Bible. It was silent. It was a silent period. In fact, Christianity calls it the 400 years of silence. Nothing happening. But spirituality was almost non-existent. But religion was at its highest point. That was the most religious period ever. And people, all of them now were told that the more you do, the better rewards you'll get from God. So if you need something from God, you got to fast and pray and sacrifice and give your tithes, and then you get something from God. You need to please God. Right? So everyone was in this rat race now, in this competition of pleasing God. God had become a reward. And people who were performing well were told that they would get this reward. God was the reward for the best performers. But there was a small problem. The problem was that no one could win this competition. No one was able to keep all the commandments. Which, by the way, was not just 10 commandments, were 400 plus, I think 413 commandments. Am I right? Theologians in the house? All the Christmas Satan people? Santa Satan, right? Spend time in these things more than other things. But all of the people trying to keep the commandments, they could not keep the 413 commandments. They failed. So then they lowered down the competition. They lowered the level. They made it simple. They made it only 10 commandments. Right, let's try 10 now. Okay, the competition is simpler because we want people to win, right? So 10 commandments. And people tried and they could not keep even 10 commandments. Not even one person could keep 10 commandments. It was crazy. So then they lowered the competition further now from keeping commandments to comparison. So all you had to do now was to be better than someone else. The standard of living was not God anymore. The standard of living was people. You only had to be better than the people around you. Right? So everyone was now trying to be better than your friend, trying to be better than your siblings, trying to be better than your colleagues at work, your classmates, your family members, everyone in the community. Like if he drinks 5 drinks every night, I drink only 2. In that way, I am a better person than him, so I become a better Christian than him. Right? If she smokes 10 cigarettes a day, I smoke only 5. So compared to her, I'm a better person. So that makes me a better Christian than her. I'm closer to God than her at least. So it was like that. And everyone was trying to please God. And because of this rat race, because of this competition, there were levels now. There were levels. And the people on top who thought they were doing quite well, they would point fingers at the people at the bottom who were struggling with sin and struggling with addiction. And they would point fingers, call them sinners, call them, I don't know what else you call them. Sinners, bad people, right? They would say, look, we're doing so good. We're keeping 9 out of 10 commandments. So we are closer to God, right? And you're not keeping any of the commandments. You're furthest away from God. And so some people dropped out of the competition. Some people gave up. Some people just stopped trying to please God because it was impossible. Some people even stopped believing in God. Because pleasing God had become so difficult. There's so many levels to please God. And every time people tried, they messed up, they fell into sin, and they went back down. They had to try again and again. And they climbed up some levels and they dropped down some levels. This race was becoming like that game, Snakes and Ladders. Anyone remember Snakes and Ladders? Right? I think I have a picture here. Anyone remembers this board game? Classic board game, right? Snakes and Ladders. I used to hate this game because I could never win. Every time I would try to climb up those ladders, there was a snake that would get me somehow. The worst was the 90s. The top level, right? There are 3 snakes, and somewhere, somehow, that 98th snake would always get me. And you remember the 98th snake? Right? That was the worst snake. I used to hate this. But the situation before the birth of Jesus, the condition in the world before Jesus was born, was just like this. The condition of people had become like a game of snakes and ladders. And in the midst of all this mess, in the midst of gaining God's approval, gaining God's pleasure, where number 100 was God is pleased with you now, and trying to get to 100 in this game of snakes and ladders, snakes and ladders of Christianity, snakes and ladders of religion, in this mess, God sends a message. In the mess of religion, God sends a message for the first time on Christmas Day, and He speaks through an angel, and the message is this, Luke chapter 2, verse 10, and He says, I bring you good news that will bring great joy to all people. For the first time in the world, God says this. For the first time in the world, there's no requirement, there's no division. God says good news and great joy to all people. The news was good, the joy is great, and it's available to everybody. Everybody. Some people were like, all people? Not just the Jews, because Jews are God's favorite people, right? No, all people. Not just the Christians, no, all people. Not just the ones who do well in life. No, all people. Not just the ones who try hard, who serve in all areas in church. No, all people. Not just the ones who keep like 9 out of 10 commandments. No, all people. Even the ones who keep 0 of the 10 commandments. Even the ones who are addicted to every addiction on planet Earth. Even the ones who smoke everything that they can find. Everybody. No distinction. No requirement. No clause like Santa Claus. Good news, great joy to all people. God has stopped being a reward. God now, because of Christmas, because of Jesus, God now is a gift. For the first time in the history of the world, because of Christmas Day, God is a gift, and He's available to everybody, even to you. Someone shout amen. Anyone happy for Christmas? Because God is a gift now, because you don't have to play this. Are you happy that you don't have to play this to get to God? Because God is a gift. God is a gift. It's getting hot in here. But I'm going to heat this up even more. So, what do you do now? What do you do knowing now that God is a gift and not a reward? How do you live your life now? How do you live your life knowing that you don't have to impress God? You don't have to try to please God. You don't have to do those good things now. You could be either naughty or nice. God is pleased with you, right? Whatever you do, God is still pleased with you. How do you live your life knowing that? Does it mean now you can do whatever you want to do in life? Does it mean you can now smoke every single thing you find? Like anything, metal even, if I can try to make it light up. Does it mean you can do whatever you feel like doing? Does it mean now you can live like you feel because God is pleased with you? Huh? And here's where it gets a little confusing. Right? Here's where people miss the point of this gift of Christmas. Here's where people make a Christmas about being jolly instead of being joyful. Right? Here's where people make Christmas about getting wasted instead of getting hopeful for the new year to come. This is where the point of Christmas is lost. Look, God is not pleased with the bad things that you do. God is not pleased with your sin. In fact, the reason He sent Jesus is because you were not able to do any good things. The reason He sent Jesus is because you were only doing bad things, and no matter how much you tried, you could not do anything good to please Him. That's why He sent Jesus. And you were created to do good things. You were created to do great things. You were created with a purpose in life. You were created with a plan to change the world. You were created to make a difference. And you could not do that. That's why God sends Jesus to enable you to fulfill your purpose. That's the reason why God sent Jesus. Not to please you, but to help you live the life He's created you to live. And I'm going to say something now that is the most important thing of this entire sermon. All right? This is the most important thing. So I want your undivided attention. You get this point, you get the entire sermon. You miss this point, you've missed the entire sermon. Everyone ready? Yes. This is the meat of the sermon. God became a gift to you so that you could become His gift to the world. Only a few people got that. God became a gift to you so that you could become His gift to the world. God's gift to you is Himself, but God's gift to the world is you. You are the gift of Christmas that God is waiting to give the world. You are the gift of Christmas. God has wrapped something on the inside of you that is waiting to unwrap and give it to the world. He's wrapped something just like He wrapped Jesus as a gift and He gave you. He has wrapped something on the inside that is waiting to present the world, either under a tree or wherever. There's something inside of you, and I'm not just talking about your talents, or I'm not just talking about your abilities. I'm not just talking about spiritual gifts also. The gift of prophecy, the gift of healing, not all of that. I'm talking about your purpose. I'm talking about the reason why you were put on this planet. Every single person in this room has a reason why they're here on this planet Earth. And that reason is not to suck air. The reason is to make a difference. God created you with a plan. And my hope is that this Christmas, you don't just make this Christmas about receiving gifts or giving gifts. Let this Christmas be a Christmas where you become the gift. Where you become the gift that God wants to give to the world. I'm looking at a room full of gifts today. All of you guys are gifts. And all of you guys look so amazing, by the way. You're dressed up so well. You're wrapped up so well. Give yourselves a hand for looking so good. That's your cue to say, Pastor, you look good as well. Okay? I mean, thank you, thank you. Still no one is saying it. Thank you. I love this. I love when people appreciate how I look, at least. I look like the gift, right? I'm dressed up like that, red with a bow. I look like a gift. But however you might have been dressed today, whatever has been your background, whatever might be your belief system, whatever might be your story, it doesn't change the fact that you are part of God's story. And every single one of you has been put on this planet for a reason. And I think this Christmas, I think today is a good day to make a decision to be that reason. Let the reason of the season be the reason why you were put on this planet. Let the reason of the season be your purpose in life. Let the reason of the season be the reason why God made you to make a difference today. Don't let Jesus be the reason for the season. I love to see shocked faces. Don't let Jesus be the reason for the season. Look, that is too irresponsible of you. To just say, okay, Jesus, you be the reason. And tell everyone, okay, Jesus is the reason for the season and I'm going away because I'm busy this Christmas, right? I have a lot to do. I have my own family. I have my business. So everyone, look at Jesus. Like, I'll remove, Jesus lives inside of my heart. But for the Christmas, I'll remove him out. I'll put him on my homepage and let everyone see, okay, Jesus is the reason for the season and I'm going away because I'm busy with my own family, right? With my own business. That's irresponsible of you. Don't let Jesus be the reason for the season. Let the reason for the season be what Jesus wants to do through you. Because Jesus wants to do great things through you. He wants to do magnificent things through you. Don't remove him out from you. Put him out there on your wallpaper. Tell the world, okay, Jesus, go figure. By the way, Santa is not real. And then all of that. And you go away. No, Jesus wants to do big things, mighty things through you. Be the reason why you were put on this earth. Be the gift of Christmas. Be the gift. Hashtag be the gift. Tell your neighbor, be the gift. Don't just give gifts. Don't just receive gifts. This Christmas, be the gift. Be the gift. Some are trying their stunts now, right? I am your gift, honey. Like, Joel's already tightening his tie. He's ready. He's ready to be the gift. Be Jesus to the world. Look, for a long time, the church has been talking about Jesus. Yes, that's great, but just throwing Jesus out there and putting all the responsibility on the head of the church, whereas the body just goes on doing their own work. But Jesus is not interested in floating over the world and throwing confetti on everyone. Hey, I'm Jesus, right? I come around during Christmas time. No, Jesus is not interested in doing that. Jesus is interested in being the church. The head has to go with the body. You have a responsibility. Not just to give Jesus, but to be Jesus to the world. Not just to give the gift, but to be the gift, to serve the purpose why you were put on this planet. Let Jesus do mighty things through you this Christmas. Live your purpose out. Make a plan. Ask Jesus, why? What is the reason you've put me here today, Lord? Why am I even here on this planet Earth? Because I want to do what you created me to do. I've tried my best to do things my way. I suck. And so does everyone else. Jesus, I want you to be Lord and Savior of my life, but then I want to live for you and I'll let you live through me. I think let this be your prayer. Let this be your message to the world. Be the gift. Be the gift. Let me close by summarizing my sermon. And I can summarize the whole sermon in 2 questions. In just 2 questions. 2 of the most important questions that you ask yourselves throughout your life. It doesn't matter if you are a Christian, if you're not a Christian, if you believe in Jesus, don't believe in Jesus. It doesn't matter. You can ask this question as well. 2 of the most important questions. And these are the questions. Number 1, who is Jesus to me? And number 2, who is Jesus through me? 2 of the most important questions of your life. Who is Jesus to me? And who is Jesus through me? First question, who is Jesus to me? Is Jesus a reward you're trying to win? Or is Jesus a gift that you receive? Who is Jesus? What do you see Jesus as? A gift or a reward? That's the first question I believe you should ask yourselves every single day of your life. Because maybe you're someone just like people in the Old Testament, and you've been trying to please Jesus. You've been trying to do all these things. Serve in church, pray, fast, sacrifice with your tithes and offerings. Do all these things in an effort to please Jesus. And it's become hard. It's difficult. Now your family is pissed off with you. Now everyone else is like, you're in this rat race and it's tiring to please Jesus. If you're that person today, then God has a message for you this Christmas. And this is what God is saying to you. It's the same Christmas message. I bring you good news that will bring great joy to all people. And that includes you. You don't have to please Jesus. You don't have to please God. God is already pleased with you. He's already given you the best He had, His only Son, while you were still sinning. He's already pleased with you. You don't have to do things to earn His acceptance and His love. He already loves you. Now, you get to do all these things, not out of a pressure to please God, but out of a pleasure that He's already pleased with you. You get to serve in church. You get to fast and pray. You get to do missions and do that thing that you really want to do for God, not out of a pleasure, not out of a pressure to please Jesus, but out of a pleasure that He loves me. He's already pleased with me. If that is you today, if you're tired of doing the things to please God, thinking Jesus is like Santa Claus, if that's you, then my word to you is receive the gift of His pleasure. Just receive His gift. It's a free gift. He's already pleased with you. This Christmas, 2019, receive the gift of God's pleasure. Or maybe you're a person who does not know Jesus. Maybe you've heard about Jesus, but you don't really know Him. Like you've heard from afar, but you've never experienced Him. You don't know this Jesus personally. And you're thinking to yourself, what has Jesus got to do with me anyway? Like, why do I deserve anything from Jesus? Why do I deserve His attention? Why do I deserve gifts from Him? Why do I deserve His love? Why do I deserve anything from Jesus? Because I haven't done anything for Him. If that is you, then God has a message for you this Christmas. And the message is the same Christmas message. And He says to you, I bring you good news now that will bring great joy for all people, including you. You don't have to earn Jesus. You don't have to win Jesus. You just receive Jesus. Because Jesus is a gift. If you want to receive today. And if you want to, I'll give you an opportunity towards the end of the sermon to receive Jesus, this free gift, which is the best gift you'll ever receive. But maybe you're someone who, you knew Jesus in the past, and you served his house, and you served Jesus, you worshipped him, you spent time with him, you had that fire for Jesus. But then something happened. And you sinned. And you messed up. And you slipped. And now you're guilty. And now you're wondering, how can I face this Jesus? How can I face him now? How can I face the church after this mess? How can I serve that team that I was serving after I did all of these things? How can I face this? If that is you, then God has a message for you. It's the same Christmas message. And he says to you, I bring you good news that will bring great joy for all people, including you. You don't have to deserve him. You just receive him. Just receive Jesus today. Even if you messed up, even if you've been naughty, just receive him. And here's the best part, okay? Here's the gooder news. I don't know what to say, but another good news. Look, you don't have to get out of your sin to get to Jesus. You don't have to get out of your mess to get to Jesus. You don't have to get out of your addictions to get to Jesus. You don't. And you can't. It's impossible. It's impossible for you to get out of your mess. Only Jesus can pull you out of the mess. So instead of trying to get out of your mess to get to Jesus, instead of trying to get out of your sin to get to Jesus, invite Jesus into your sin. Invite Jesus into your mess. Invite Jesus into your addiction. We've tried too hard by telling the world, hey, don't sin. Stop that habit. Only then Jesus will be pleased with you. But in fact, Jesus came because you could not stop. So don't stop. Invite him in. Invite Jesus into your bad habits, into your mess. And when Jesus steps in, when the Son of Man gets into your mess, he will turn your mess into a message. He will turn your sin into a song. He will turn an addict into a pastor like me. Because only Jesus can. Only Jesus can. Quit trying to win him. Quit trying to get out of all those things that you cannot. Quit playing snakes and ladders. Quit writing to Santa. Just invite Jesus. Jesus is better than Santa. He has gifts even when you don't deserve it. He has gifts not only during Christmas, but throughout the year. The Bible says, while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. He died for you so that you could stop doing those things that you're not supposed to do. Jesus died for you so that you could start living the life you're called to live. Jesus died for you so that you could live now, not on earth, but live for all eternity, so that you could have eternal life. And that's the good news of the gospel. But there's one more reason why Jesus died for you. Jesus died for you on the cross so that you could live for him in this world. Jesus died for you on the cross so that you could live for him in this world. Don't just live for yourselves, live for him. Don't just receive gifts this Christmas. Be the gift this Christmas. Don't just give gifts. Be the gift. Ask God, ask Jesus, what is that thing? Who am I that you have wrapped me? What is my thing? What is my role on this planet Earth? And here's the thing, if you don't know your role, if you don't know who you are, if you don't know what you're called to do, if you don't know your purpose in life, serve someone else's purpose. And when you serve someone else's purpose, you will realize your own unique purpose in life. And what best purpose to serve than Jesus' purpose? Right? What best purpose to serve than the house of God? Serve in church. Start serving in church. If you don't serve in church, start serving in church. Not to please Him, but knowing He's already pleased with you. Now you get to be Him to others. Serve in the church that you are called to be. Not just Limitless Church. No, I'm not telling you now, come here guys, serve here. But serve wherever God has planted you. Serve in whatever area that's available in church. Don't demand and say, hey, I am the worship leader, your future worship leader. No. Check where God has a need in your own church and serve there. And if you belong to Limitless, or if you don't have a church, or if this is the church God has called you, serve at Limitless Church. Serve here. We need a lot of volunteers. Why? Because we need to touch the world. We need to touch the world outside. It's going to take more than our volunteers that we have. And we've already so many, but we need more. If you want to be the gift this Christmas, serve the gift of Christmas. Want to be Jesus to the world? Serve the house of Jesus. Serve Jesus today and be the gift. I said all of this to say one thing. Anyone, any guesses? I said all of this to say one thing. In fact, two things. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone. Can we give Jesus some shout, some praise today?